The 6.5 is on the road here at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. Dan, it's been an exciting trip so far. I mean, the hallways have been bustling with excitement, basically, talking about, quite frankly, the benefits that generative AI can bring to the whole value chain here in telco world, whether it's the device at the edge network, core network, and everything in between. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, we're back. I mean, we are back. You're walking the halls, you're bumping into people. And again, we kind of went through this period. Everybody stopped traveling and stopped being on the road. And by the way, we are on the road. I mean, getting here, the traffic, by the way, that's why we stayed close this time, so we could walk over here, because it is just so chaotic. But you're right, generative AI, of course, takes the stage. I went to a session this morning in the big stage and watched it. Everything was AI focused. You go down the halls, you look at the booths, AI. But there's still a lot of network transformation going on. There's still a lot of mobile, next generation devices, Pat. So we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we do. And one of the biggest themes that we've had is the importance of semiconductors and how it is literally transforming everything. And I know, that just sounds like a throwaway line, but the truth is it is. I mean, you and I got into semiconductors but before it was cool. I spent a few years at a semiconductors company, and it is amazing to see that importance come to the table. And it's not just about, I can't get enough. It's literally the thing that is making this latest AI trend, generative AI, reality. And I think we've also talked about, hey, it's not just about the compute. It's not just about the NPU, the GPU, the importance of every system to have a balanced architecture with the right storage and memory that supports the use cases.
I mean, isn't memory pretty important for doing parallel compute?
Last time I checked,
yeah.
Yes. And as we found on even handsets and PCs, more storage, more memory, faster interaction. And it's with that not so subtle introduction. We're sitting here in the Micron Executive Suite. Great to see you again.
Nice to see you. How are you doing?
Much better in person than over Zoom.
Yeah,
it's great to see you.
Much better. Yeah, it's actually, I agree with everything you were just saying. Even before asking a question, jumping right into it. I mean, when we were sitting here last year, we were starting to talk about generative AI, but it was because a certain vendor showed stable diffusion, and I was getting asked all the time, why do you need AI at the edge?
Right.
But it's clear that you need it at the edge now, right? I mean, it's not even a question anymore. So yes, AI is growing in the cloud, all these LLMs running in the cloud, and now you're seeing companies launching LLMs on phones, right? And that's just really exciting. It's a major inflection point.
Well, when we get less, it used to be the big question was again, why do we need that? And now is the use cases, and quite frankly, what announcements, that we were both at on the West Coast, United States, plus some of the announcements here make it very clear. Now, can it be clearer? Absolutely. Is this beginning? Absolutely. Is it going to get even better and more, oh my gosh, as we get in there? 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been quite a year, hasn't it, Chris?
Yeah.
I mean, I do remember last year we were at the show and we started to see demonstrations of on-device AI with stable diffusion. I think we actually had to sit down there.
Right.
It's been great having you on.
Didn't you make like a stuffed bunny with a rainbow behind it on a
Yeah, one of us,
something?
it was like a leprechaun in a field full of wheat or something like that.
I just gave it something that I thought it couldn't do that would be completely ridiculous, and it actually did it in about 12 seconds.
Yeah, we learned a lot in the last year. I mean, you see what Sora is going. I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. And by the way, this is such a good moment for a company like Micron, because with the amount of memory required to do this, and with all the energy and interest in the on-device world. So Micron made an exciting product announcement here at Mobile World Congress. Can you tell us a little bit about the announcement and talk a little bit more about kind of the overall announcement, what's going on, partner ecosystem, et cetera?
Thank you. Yes, today we announced our new next generation UFS 4.0 storage device in the world's smallest 9x13 package. You can look at how small this thing is, about the size of my pinky.
Tiny.
Yeah, you can store up to 1 terabyte in this thing. So It comes in 256, 512, and 1 terabyte capacities. It's got some great new features that we can talk about in a little bit. One called One Button Refresh, which is a custom thing that we came up with that helps the device feel like it's new even after you've been using it for a while. And we also have a feature called High Performance Mode, which measures the bus and prioritizes the activity that's going on in the device to make sure that the end user gets the benefit they're looking for. We actually see applications can load 25% faster based on this feature. It's great. We work with all the great OEMs that are out there, including, our product lineup is in the Samsung Galaxy lineup. Every major OEM you can think of, as well as the Honor Magic 6, which just announced. Our storage and memory devices are in there as well. It's great. So this product is still the world's fastest, the fastest feeds and speeds in the world at the lowest power, as well as these new custom features, and again, the world's smallest footprint. So really excited about it.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about the smartphone, and what I'm hearing is there is a scenario where each user will have to download 20 to 30 different models on their, not only on their smartphone, but also on their PC, because of the variation of the benefits you get. So for instance, one model might be best for images. The other model might be best for parsing text and doing summaries, as an example. One might be the best at being context aware of what's around you to be able to tee that up. So I hope you're making enough of this in the future. I felt pretty confident on the PC side to call an inflection point. I'm still doing my calculations on when smartphones are, but I have to tell you, I'm seeing more better things than I had expected early on, because it does take some time for the software to catch up with the capability of the hardware.
Yeah, and we consider it our job. I personally consider it my job to keep the hardware out of the way of the software, right? I mean, our job is to make sure we have this platform that the really smart people that are coming up with the next generation software can run on. And up until now, we've been able to do that pretty well. As we've come out with faster, LPDDR4 to LPDDR5, people could go from a 4K display to an 8K display. You can get a 100 megapixel camera, but kind of incremental, right? It's just incrementally better. Certainly not enough to go drive, my wife to buy a new phone every year. With AI, that's changing. The hardware is now behind the needs of the software. So we just talked about a 8 billion parameter file. Well, let's just say that's about a 8 gigabyte file, right? Let's just do some quick math. If you're running your storage and you're saving a few of those on your storage at a time, but you can only read at 4 gigabytes a second, it's going to take 2 seconds just to load up the file, not even execute it. So you have to take it from the storage, load it into the DRAM, then you have to execute it across the NPU and the DRAM. You're talking seconds before you get things actually running. So it's not just capacity, it's the performance, the increased performance. We're truly seeing a need now for the first time in a long time to go drive new innovation. And that's just really, really exciting. It's why I became an engineer in the first place. It's why a lot of us go to work every day. That said, even before going to AI, with today's phones, you ever use your phone and after 6 months or so it's running slow? Absolutely. So on the device we just launched today, we have a new feature called OBR, or one button refresh. We're old enough to remember DOS. Remember defrag tools in DOS? Well, as a file sits on a device over a long period of time, it gets fragmented. Yes. And then you'd have to go type and write your defrag. And there's some smartphone vendors today that have their own, where you go into the op and you clean it up. Exactly. Well, we do that on the fly. So this new one button refresh, you don't actually have to press a button. It actually happens automatically in the background. That's great. And it'll make your phone look like new even if you had it for 6 months. So that's the kind of innovation that we're driving, those type of features that make it better for the end user. That's really what we're focused on at Micron. It's funny, just when you think you know everything as an analyst, and sometimes we think we do, you learn, like I actually did not know that that capability is placed, and also the performance required to do those LLMs. So I love it.
Yeah, when you started talking about semis just in the beginning of the show, I put my hand on my heart.
Exactly.
I know we want to dig into all the applications, but we said it like 4 or 5 years ago, semiconductors would eat the world. That's right. Everybody wanted to say software. It's like, try running all these apps now without it. Well,
think of the software as the car, right? And you opened up with traffic out there. Sure. I know I was late to my first meeting today, as I'm sure quite a few people were, because you're used to running at, I don't know out here, 40 kilometers an hour on these streets. Right. And we're doing 5 to 10 because of all the traffic. Exactly. Well, quick little tie-in to another new feature we have called HPM, high performance mode. So what we're actually doing in the storage is monitoring the bus, and we can tell whether it's an operating system read or write, or whether you're executing maybe an LLM, or maybe you're loading up your favorite video game. And so what we're doing is parsing that data and then prioritizing, again, automatically in the background on the storage device, making sure the reads for what the user wants to see are prioritized and come out. We're seeing actually a 25% faster app loading time based on this new technology that we put out there. So this is based upon the applications today. We're really excited looking at the applications that are coming tomorrow, but you think, oh, you've got this bus and the bits are going back and forth, and you're just always going to be operating at 4 gigabytes a second. Well, the truth is you're not. Your operating system, there's a lot of stuff out there that's traffic. And so if you can make sure that you've got that police officer making sure your car gets through the red lights faster, your end user's going to be happy at the end of the day.
It's a great feature, and I'm glad I set you up for that one. That was like a bonus.
Yeah, right?
Interestingly enough.
We didn't even take notes.
He's one of these photographic memory guys, so.
Well, so let's double click a little bit, because you've kind of alluded to this, but I wanted to ask you, so we're unlocking more compute at the edge, and that's beneficial for consumers, but something when we were talking in the green room, you talked a little bit about refresh cycles, and then I heard you say something earlier in this conversation about like getting you mentioned your wife. So, but I mean, everybody out there buying phones more regularly, buying PCs more regularly, and I think even with the AI PC trend and the device trend, there has been a bit of like what's going to be the reason to go buy the next iPhone? What's the reason to go buy the next Android phone? By the way, you've announced some great new partnerships here with a couple of vendors, right? Honor and
big one named Samsung. You might
Samsung.
Have heard.
Yep.
May have heard of them.
But talk a little bit about what are the benefits of the consumer? What do you see as the drivers to get the consumers to go to the store and upgrade? Take that cycle from 4 years to, I mean, what would the difference be if it went to 3? It would be massive incremental growth.
Yeah, and again, the users are why we come to work every day, right? And so what I see a couple things. One is we're going to start with basic applications, as you're saying, right? You're going to download 20, 30 different apps of a couple billion parameter files to do your favorite memes, stable diffusion, things like that. My kids are playing with that today, to be able to do that on device so that you're at the sporting event where you don't have great network connectivity. You can still get it done and send it to your friends. Do it at dinner in the background, things like that. But what really gets interesting to me is when the way you interface with your device changes. And actually, Honor announced intent-based UI, which I was really excited about. I know we've talked about contextual awareness before, and you mentioned it. It doesn't take any artificial intelligence to have your phone know that you're approaching your car and it's time to go to work. And it's going to tell you that there's a traffic accident on the way you normally go to work and go a different way. You don't need AI for that. But to be able to go and look at your phone, you ever been in a dinner, any kind of dinner or social event where you're in a conversation and there's someone talks about something that reminds you of a picture that you just want to show them, or some file that's on your device.
All the time.
And it takes you a minute to go find that file. By the time you find the file, the conversation's moved on, right? Well, maybe I'm the engineer here who that happens to, and the awkward guy jumping back in.
Dan is usually on dinners. He's on his phone all the time.
Hey,
so
right.
Hey, be nice. You bring up cars. Also, let me show you that one.
yeah, exactly.
Right, but it takes a little while to find that actual file. But with AI now, you can actually just type in and search for the picture you're looking for, as opposed to actually going through and streaming through and get 96 pictures and then finding the right one.
So give me an example. You could be like, me and my orange car by name in
Yes.
this year, because it'll have been trained on a model. It'll be trained on you.
to go
It'll know
look
your
for-
date.
Just like you can build a picture based upon what you type, you can go search for a picture that already exists based upon what you type.
So get much more granular
of what you're looking
Look
for.
at that. We said that at the same time.
And then, see, didn't even take notes.
You guys are connected.
But again, over
watch out.
time,
I know.
intent-based over time, the phone can even get to know you and what pictures you look for more often, right? So you may not even have to type in the whole thing. It can start automatically looking for what you're
So it knows to put a little bit more effort maybe into training on that subset, just to be ready, maybe caching it somewhere where it has a higher likelihood you're going to be looking for it.
Or the concept of federated learning, right? So federated learning is like when you talk to your favorite OS, hey, so-and-so, and it knows that it's your voice and it's not your friend's voice that's standing next to you. Oftentimes that's done with federated learning, and that's where learning on the device is customized towards you. Well, now imagine that learning on the device is customized towards what you pick on a menu, how you work out, when you do go to work, when you pick up your kids, what sporting events you're interested in.
Right.
All these little things that we parse day to day, if your device actually started understanding what you enjoy doing and what you do for health, what you do for today's my wife's birthday, so I better do something for that, right? What does she enjoy doing? As your device gets to understand you better, it's going to be able to customize the data that you're looking for, and it's going to be able to make your life easier and better as well. So the entire concept of your device understanding you, I think, is really the next generation. Not only that, Imagine just being able to talk to your device and it understands the words that you're saying. And it's not like, how many times have you tried to talk to your device and then it goes to the cloud to try and search for something, it didn't search for what you're actually looking for. With generative AI, the ability to parse the language, understand you, understand what you've done in the past, and precisely find what you're looking for, it's going to completely change the way you use the phone.
No, it's exciting. So, Chris, we've talked a little bit about longer term. We've talked about kind of what's right here in front of our face. You do a lot of planning. I mean, quite frankly, you have to make decisions 3 years before you ship a product, architecturally even before that, to do that. And yeah, you can make some packaging changes here and there that they get closer in, but what are you expecting for the next year? What are some of the challenges related to AI that the industry or with Micron needs to address to help this move forward?
I think tera operations per second per watt, tops per watt, is one of the most important things. How much compute can you get done without killing your battery? Because all of these models are going to drive a lot of tops, which are going to naturally drain your battery. And they're also going to drive a lot of interactions, as we already described, between the storage and the memory device itself.
Yes.
So as we can take the storage and the NPU and the memory subsystem together and optimize that for not just performance, but performance per watt, that's the main focus right now. Another example of a next generation, wouldn't you like to be able to, I would like to be able to just take my phone, not have it attached to the cloud, and record meeting minutes. And then actually go through and take those meeting minutes and parse them and tell me what the action items were and the major things. So you can do that today attached to the cloud. But if you're a small or medium business owner, you don't want that necessarily going to the cloud. You want that data to be close to you. What if someone's talking about social security numbers? There's all kinds of secure reasons you want it done in the edge next to you. We want to really focus on how we can optimize the storage and memory system with our partners in the SoC world to make sure that this is all optimized and some owner of some small business can just put their phone out there, record it, and then not have to have another employee go write it all up or have to spend hours themselves writing up what the meeting minutes were and following up on it. Those type of applications, again, are really going to change how people use their phones. People may not think it as revolutionary. It's just going to be a new, people kind of look at this stuff evolutionary. But in order to make that happen, we got to make sure the battery doesn't die halfway through the meeting. So that's, again, where we're really focused. How can we make sure that you can load this thing up and not kill the battery over time? We do this sometimes through standards. Standards bodies like JEDEC do a lot of driving that, but there's also a lot of innovation like what I just described for the one-button refresh. A lot of that innovation is proprietary and that we do ourselves. And I got to tell you, we're running Llama 2 right now, and we're trying to figure out how all this stuff works and what can we put in our firmware that no one else will have to make it better next year and the year after. So it's a lot of fun stuff.
To put an exclamation point on that, I think the future operating system, and I think we'll probably see it in the next year, we'll be taking snapshots of everything that we do, and users are not going to want to pump that all into the cloud. And the benefits you can think of, right? There's only 4 or 5 major ecosystems today that they don't work together, but this could be the glue that pulls together the context across all of those major ecosystems to deliver value to the user. And that's going to take an incredible amount of storage capability. It's going to take an incredible amount of performance at low power, because we want everything. We want to have our cake and eat it too.
That's right.
So, you in the industry have a lot of you've done great work. There's a lot of work to be done. And this is one of the most exciting times I've seen in a long time, where you have to buy a new phone, not just because it breaks or you don't like the color or something. By the way, camera's still important, but it's something besides the camera that gets you in to get a new phone and not wait 4 or 5 and sometimes 6 years.
It's a new set of tools in the tool belt, right?
Yeah.
I used to work with someone who called the phone today a great Swiss Army knife. Does a lot of things kind of well. Well, now we're adding a whole new set of tools to it that it's going to actually do really well. And to your point, today we're seeing an average capacity increase of about 4 to 8 gigabytes on the memory side for AI-based phone.
Right.
So if you were going to have an 8 gigabyte phone, it's going to be 12. It could go to 16. It could go to 24 even. We're seeing 24 gigabyte phones out there. There's no AI running, there's no models running in the OS yet. Pretty soon there's going to be at least 2 models running at a time in the OS on top of all these apps. So the need for more memory, faster memory, as well as on the storage side, it's absolutely coming. It's really exciting.
Yeah. Totally.
It sounds like it's setting up very well, Chris. And I think, hammering it home, you got an efficiency and power opportunity. And then, of course, you have a compute productivity gains opportunity that comes with pairing the right memory to all this compute.
Yeah.
Congratulations on all the success. Congratulations on the announcement. And exciting times for memory. The boom bust, this is a boom cycle, and we are very excited to watch Micron's next wave of growth.
We are too, and we've got the best engineers in the world going to figure this stuff out, and so it's going to be a real fun ride.
We'll be watching. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, hit that subscribe button. Join Patrick and I for all of our coverage here at Mobile World Congress 2024 in Barcelona. For this particular show, it's time that we say goodbye. We'll see you all soon.